Well, good afternoon, everybody. If we can have a seat, we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome everybody here today for this celebration of service and achievement. I'm Deputy Secretary Stephen Sensky and want to say how great it is to see all of you here today. As you know, we here at USDA, our goal is to be the best managed, the best customer-focused agency in all of the federal government. And the folks that we're honoring here today really exemplify how all of you and our colleagues are really living up to that goal each and every day. I think it was President Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, who talked about service, who best expressed it. He said, "It is not the critic that counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the individual who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends in a worthy cause, who at the best knows, in the end, the triumph of high achievement." We're here today to honor high achievement, and it is my great pleasure to welcome Secretary of Agriculture, our Secretary, Sonny Perdue.
Well, thank you, Steve, and I think we do have some doers here today. I love that quote that you gave us, and I think that's exactly why we're here. Good afternoon, everyone. So I want to welcome all of our honorees and their families and friends for being here, and this is sort of an award program that we decided to retool a little bit. We wanted to align our awardees and the awards being given with what it is we hope to accomplish here at the USDA with our strategic goals. And so we've got the leadership of USDA here today with our undersecretaries to come forward and to talk about those strategic goals and to let you know, the people that are being awarded, how they achieved or helped to achieve that. Back in 2017, the fall, you may remember that we talked about what it is. What do we want USDA to be? What do we want USDA to do? And we aligned on 7 strategic goals that would guide our work through the coming months and years in that regard. So today's awards line up with those goals purposely because of that, with the addition of a special award at the end with exceptional service to our customers in the wake of the 2017 hurricanes. So the individuals being celebrated and awarded today are those whose work embodies that strategic goals, maximizing rural prosperity, promoting American agriculture, and looking out for the common good of all of our customers. Our employees here at USDA, you've heard me say before, it's exciting to work with you because I think your heart and passion come through day in and day out, and I really appreciate that. It's not a job for most of you, and for that I'm grateful in how you take the challenge of reaching out and fulfilling our motto. So every recipient today, as Steve said, has exemplified themselves, has distinguished themselves by going above and beyond their job descriptions, making a positive difference for the American people on behalf of their individual agencies and departments. So I'm extremely proud to serve along these people as well as all of you, and I'm proud to be able to highlight their success today. We hope that this really first honor award will be the beginning of others as you inspire others to aspire to these types of recognition going forward. We want you to know we feel like we picked out the best of the best. For those of you who may not have been recognized this year, even though you believe your work was up to par, we want to make sure we get you next year. So keep on doing good. So I know you've heard me say before when we began, we are stewards of this department. We're stewards of what the government and the people have entrusted to us, and we want to make all that we can and leave it better than we found it in that regard. So I feel the same way here. We want, through our people, our most important resource or asset in any agency, large or small, are the people. And that's what we're trying to achieve, is really to make the best better and the others better as well. So we hope that these awards in some way are an inspiration that we can achieve even greater results as we go forward. So this department is no different from many in some ways, but thanks to the works of these awardees and others, many others, I believe we are leaving USDA better than we found it. And I don't say that in a pejorative way. It's just continuous improvement along is our goal. So I'd like now to begin with the presentations and invite Undersecretary Greg Ibaugh to come up for our first strategic goal and awardees.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and I'm thrilled to be able to have the honor to recognize the first strategic goal, that is to ensure USDA programs are delivered efficiently, effectively, and with integrity and focus on customer service. Where have we heard that before, guys? Efficient, effective, and best customer service in the federal government. We have 2 award winners for this goal. First is Mr. Ted Cowk, Chief of Staff for the Office of the Chief Information Officer here in Washington, D.C. Ted spearheaded the Chief Executive Officer's Dashboard Project, which enabled 7 vital administrative offices to share key metrics across mission areas, using a simple, consolidated analytics and dashboard framework. The implementation of the CXO dashboards speaks directly to our first strategic goal, because it allows executives to have real-time information so they can work efficiently, effectively, and make knowledgeable decisions based on facts and not guesswork. The use of dashboards will impact everyone in USDA's reach, from leadership and staff to producers and consumers. Ted, please come up and accept your award, and great job. I'm especially honored to be able to award our second award for Strategic Goal 1, which goes to the team from the Ag Marketing Service here in Washington, D.C. This team was made up of Robert Winterstein, Mark McFetridge, Michael Sheets, and Brian Kyron. This AMS team worked to streamline the process of reviewing Section 32 purchases to reduce the processing time and better enable the department to provide wholesome food to all Americans. In the second half of last year alone, AMS was able to cost-effectively purchase on a timely basis 15 types of fruits and vegetables, dairy and meat products worth over $300 million to feed hungry Americans. The ability of AMS to help industries in a more timely and efficient manner allows the Section 32 purchases to increase domestic consumption and benefit low-income families. Would Robert, Mark, Michael, and Roger please come to the stage? Well done, guys. Thanks for making MRP look great.
Okay, well, very good. And now, next, we'd like to invite Undersecretary Bill Northey to the stage to recognize some valuable employees. Bill?
Well, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Great to be able to do this. The second strategic goal is to maximize the ability of American agricultural producers to prosper by feeding and clothing the world. This award goes to the 2017 WIP implementation team, made up of a team of individuals from Farm Production and Conservation Mission Area. The team is Clay Legacy of FSA here in Washington, D.C., Loretta Baxa, also from FSA here in D.C., Chris Keeler from FSA in Merced, California, and Chris couldn't be here today, but Marcinda Kester from FSA in Bartow, Florida, and Jalen Hanna from FSA in Stillwater, Oklahoma are here. In the wake of the devastating year of disasters across the country, Congress created the Wildfires and Hurricane Indemnity Program, which is better known as WIP, to help producers offset their costs and their losses. The 2017 WIP implementation team provided our nation's producers with financial assistance quickly and efficiently, allowing for hundreds of agricultural producers to recover and rebuild their farming operations. So come on up, Clay, Loretta, Marcinda, and Jalen to the stage and receive your awards.
Thank you, Bill Northey. And now we will invite our Undersecretary Ted McKinney of our Trade Office to recognize some special people.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Our third strategic goal is really one that's pretty easy to remember. Promote American agricultural products and exports. This team award goes to a trade mitigation team. Many of you have heard about the big trade mitigation team, and I love this one because I think it so embodies what I think we're all trying to achieve with this One USDA theme. So let me share with you the names, and they come from all different sectors, certainly from the Foreign Ag Service, but from many more. I'll start with Mark Slupek from the Foreign Ag Service here in Washington, D.C., David Tuckwiller from AMS here in D.C., Sean Arita from the Office of the Chief Economist, also here, Diane Kravisky from Food Nutrition Services here in Alexandria, Ralph Linden, Office of the General Counsel here in D.C., and Brad Carmen from the Farm Services Agency, or FSA. Would you please come forward? The trade mitigation team worked tirelessly, and I do mean that. Many others of you I know also participated, to benefit producers impacted by unjustified retaliatory tariffs beyond the call of duty at every stage to ease the burden on recipients, streamline access, and ensure speedy program recovery. They have helped farmers. They have helped disrupted markets. They have dealt with surplus commodities and overall helped all of USDA and American agriculture to develop and expand new markets. So Mark, David, Sean, Diane, Ralph, and Brad, congratulations. Glad to be part of it.
Moving right along, thank you so much. And we, at this time, would like to invite our Acting Assistant Secretary to the Secretary for Rural Development, Joel Baxley, to the stage.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. So our fourth strategic goal is to facilitate rural prosperity and economic development, which we work very hard on in rural development as with our partners in USDA. I'm proud to announce that this award has been won by a team from rural development out of the national office for the creation of the Econnectivity Resource Handbook. To do this, the team put themselves in the shoes of our customers for USDA, simplify the way in which our customers can determine which programs that we have in USDA, help them with rural broadband and e-connectivity technology projects. The members of those teams were Hewat Gabramariam, Claudette Fernandez, who couldn't be here today, Laurel Leverrier, and Marie Wheat. I want to just point out that broadband is an interest to all of us, and Secretary, that is a priority of yours and the President's as well, and we're working hard to push that forward for this economic development in rural areas. And I want to invite the team on up to get their awards.
Righty. Next, we have strategic goal number 5, and our Deputy Undersecretary Scott Hutchins will come up and announce our awardees.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Pleasure to be here and make some of these announcements. Our fifth strategic goal is to strengthen the stewardship of private lands through technology and research. And today we have 2 recipients or groups that we want to recognize. The first goes to our soil health test team from Research Education Economics Mission Area and a member as well from NRCS out of Temple, Texas. This team is made up of Dr. Richard Haney from ARS, Otis Falkenberry from ARS, Chris Holly from NRCS, and Dr. Michael White from ARS. The soil health team, with tremendous creativity and a real bias for action, has made great strides in developing novel techniques to measure soil respiration and nutrient extraction from the soils as plants would do it, and estimate mineralization and plant availability of nutrients in the soil. And so that's been a great research effort, but what's most important is that it's really developed a methodology and allowed us to be much more effective and efficient. This technique, often referred to as the Haney Soil Health Test, and you know you've made it in science when you have a test named after you. Even Einstein doesn't have a test named after him. As others have termed it, has been adopted by 15 commercial soil testing labs in U.S., Great Britain, Australia, and South Africa. And it's a great example in USDA of technology transfer from a research investment. In a nutshell, the test better estimates organic nitrogen with the net effect of allowing less nitrogen applied for the same yield impact. More than 50,000 soil tests were performed with these methods in the U.S. in 2016, generating up to $4 million in revenue for the soil testing industry, which leads to, of course, rural development and economic benefits. But even more importantly, it provides critical prescriptive management information supporting data-based agriculture and supports the profitability of our growers. So congratulations to this team, and I'd like to ask Richard, Otis, Chris, and Michael to please join us on stage to accept your award. The next award in this category, supporting goal number 5, goes to Samuel Cushman, a Forest Service colleague from Flagstaff, Arizona, for his work in the Center for Landscape Science. The Center for Landscape Science delivers cross-agency interdisciplinary science to strengthen stewardship of private lands through technology and research. Dr. Cushman has led a number of highly impactful and collaborative projects to develop effective ways to manage public and private lands and to apply this knowledge in resource management and conservation projects critical to this particular goal. So, Dr. Cushman, would you please join us on stage?
Well, thank you, Scott. I think most people around here are familiar with a test called the Purdue test. I'm not sure how scientific it is, but they know it when they see it. So anyway, next we have Chief Vicki Christensen, obviously from the U.S. Forest Service, and talk about some real heroes there. So Vicki, come on up.
Good afternoon. Our 6th USDA strategic goal is to ensure productive and sustainable use of our National Forest System lands. This award goes to our Good Neighbor Authority team from the Natural Resource and Environment Mission Area. The team is made up of Maureen, we know her as Mo Bookwalter, Forest Service from Missoula, Montana, Scott Godfrey, Forest Service from Kamiah, Idaho, Matt Staudacher, Forest Service from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Steve Kimball, Forest Service from McCall, Idaho, and Lynn Oliver, Forest Service from Boise, Idaho. Unfortunately, Scott, Matt, and Steve couldn't be here today. The Good Neighbor Authority team is being recognized for their efforts in working across jurisdictional boundaries to treat our priority landscapes in mixed ownerships, setting and taking an all-lands approach to address our critical land management challenges. This team's innovative efforts have contributed to the improvement of forest and watershed resilience, as well as the strength of the forest products industry infrastructure and the vitality in Idaho. I'd like to bring the team up to the stage and thank you for your great and awesome work.
Thank you, folks. Now, for our 7th strategic goal, I want to invite Deputy Undersecretary Dr. Mindy Brashears to announce those awardees. Dr. Brashears.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Our 7th and final strategic goal is to provide all Americans access to a safe, nutritious, and secure food supply. This award goes to the Salura-Formes implementation team from the Food Safety and Inspection Service. The team is made up of Dr. Keita Bowman Blackwell, Lisa Schmitzy, and Janet McMinn. The Salura-Formes implementation team is earning this award for their dedication and exemplary service in implementing the new nationwide program for the inspection of domestic and imported Salura-Formes products. And just in case you're wondering, Salura-Formes is catfish. The FSIS recently retained regulatory oversight of this product. These staff members have worked closely with the individual producers and importers of Salura-Formes products to ensure that these businesses understood FSIS regulations and the steps they would need to meet FSIS regulatory requirements. I'd like to invite Keita, Lisa, and Janet to the stage. Thank you for your hard work on this.
Is it okay if I just say thanks to the catfish team? I defy you to go into a South Georgia restaurant and order a plate of fried Salura-Formes. So anyway, but well, been a great group, and we're honored to recognize these folks. But we've got another group that I have the honor today of recognizing. If you think back, remember 2017 was sort of filled with some natural disasters and some tragedies in many places with hurricanes. So I wanted to have an award called the Secretary's Award for Emergency Response, because I think that's what USDA did. The following individuals are receiving this award for emergency response because of their extraordinary response to Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria in Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands that impacted literally millions of Americans. These individuals absolutely, unequivocally went above and beyond the call of duty to help those in dire need after hurricanes tore through their states and islands, and we saw many of those. So today we're recognizing, and we'll ask to come to the stage in a second, Carlos Suarez of NRCS in Davis, California. Carlos was detailed to Puerto Rico and was he was the chief down there for a long while. Carlos Rodriguez of the Forest Service in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Wanda Perez of FSA in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Laura Castro of FNS in Alexandria, Virginia. Janice Fitzgerald of FNS in Alexandria, Virginia. Kathy Staley of FNS in Alexandria, Virginia. Shanique Bridges of FNS in Alexandria, Virginia. Letitia Savoy of FNS in Alexandria, Virginia. Edwin Almodovar of NRCS in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Luis Hernandez of NRCS in Amherst, Massachusetts. Edwin Martinez of NRCS in Washington, D.C., and Damaris Medina of NRCS in San Juan, Puerto Rico. As unfortunately, Shanique and Luis cannot make it here today, but I think you can tell a large contingent of people, and these are just the best of the best here that have been identified as fulfilling our motto. So would you join me at the stage? Let's thank these folks. Once again, I want to congratulate all of the awardees, and I want to congratulate, frankly, all of our employees. This was tough decisions, and I've challenged our team for next year to see how we can make it maybe a little more democratic, actually, as far as peer recommendations of these kind of awards, because typically when we work side by side with one another, we really know who's going above and beyond the call of duty. So hopefully we can do that as we challenge one another to really aspire to greatness and lift one another up. I think great behavior of this really does encourage and motivate those around to do the very same thing. So we're honored that you would be here today to help us celebrate these, and I want to thank you for coming and thank all of these members as well as all of our team for helping to fulfill that motto, which is what? To do right and feed everyone. Thank you very much.